be a political winner. So that remains a question all these months later.
Senator Harry Reid, Other Politics Now, has spent a lot of time talking about the Koch brothers.
Oh, he says nobody likes them.
Says America's addicted to Koch?
He says they're un-American. Well, so I guess if you're un-American, then I guess a lot of Americans wouldn't like you because...
Now stop.
He says you're un-American.
So
that's what Harry Reid says.
He's dared to investigate them, he's dared them to investigate him, thank you, with a private detective and accuse them of delaying aid to Ukraine.
Which is kind of interesting because actually it was the White House that delayed aid to the Ukraine because they wanted IMF reforms. And I thought that was really fascinating, that Republicans were trying to get aid to the Ukraine before Putin went into Crimea, but it was the Democrats that stopped it. But anyway, we don't want to distract Harry Reid with facts. So anyway, he's calling the Koch brothers un-American and saying everybody hates them. Okay,
we can debate that, but I'll stick to
where is this going, Mika?
Okay.
I wish I knew.
The majority leader said this about the billionaires late last month.
Yes.
It's too bad that they're trying to buy America, and it's time that the American people spoke out against this terrible dishonesty of these two brothers who are about as un-American as anyone that I can imagine.
Un-American, wow. And so now he and the Democrats have decided the way they're going to win the midterm elections is not by spending money trying to get young people to sign up for Obamacare or bring jobs back to America. They're going to attack the Koch brothers.
Well,
you think that's going to work?
New polls show that the senator is less than popular with the billionaire brothers. The George Washington Battlegrounds poll of registered likely voters shows that Koch's unfavorables at 25%.
Okay.
Senator Reid's unfavorables are 10 points higher.
Oh, wow.
So I guess if you're looking at this argument from both sides.
So Harry Reid is more unpopular than the Koch brothers is what you're saying. That's fascinating.
That's like, I could think of a lot of parallels that still President Obama's unfavorables and favorables dwarf them both.
Yeah. So
it's very depressing.
What's depressing is Harry Reid has decided to take these two brothers, Mike Barnacle, and try to make them the issue. Listen, if my party said, hey, this year we're going to go after George Soros and that guy that's going to spend $100 million on global warming, I would say my party is so devoid of ideas and is so disconnected from America, they deserve to get absolutely blasted. I've said that. I've said stuff like that about my party. This year, the shoe's on the other foot. Harry Reid's lost his political mind.
Those poll numbers are mystifying to me because I think that if you walked outside this building and talked to the first 15 people about that you met, about the Koch brothers or Harry Reid, they wouldn't know any one of the three. The second element of it is the pollution of money stems on both sides. It's the Koch brothers throwing money at things. It's George Soros throwing money at things. It's the fellow from San Francisco investing. What did he say he was going to invest?
$100 million. I've got no problem with it. I got no problem with, you know, and in the past, Willie, there have been people that have talked about George Soros, awful, blah. Hey, George Soros made the money. If George Soros wants to spend the money on politics and making America more like the America he would like to see than, let's say, going to Vegas and gambling that money away, right? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Let George Soros spend how he wants to spend. Let the Koch brothers spend how they want to spend. But Harry Reid, I don't know. I don't get it. Do you get this strategy? Elect Democrats?
It's a little mystifying to hear it from the Senate Majority Leader on the floor of the United States Senate. I get it with third-party groups, and on some blogs you might hear the Koch brothers set up as this boogeyman. Are they pouring a lot of money into the process? Yes, they are. Are they playing by the rules as they exist right now? Yes, they are. And that's probably not a good thing. We can argue that another day. But I wonder, and it remains to be seen if this strategy works, if moderate voters, if swing voters are interested in the Koch brothers, if they're interested in their own problems in their lives. We'll see what happens in November.
And Sam STEIN, I mean, Harry Reid, what's behind all of this? Harry Reid calling these two brothers, quote, un-American. There are a lot of liberals in New York City that would disagree. There are a lot of liberals in New York City that appreciate what they've done on cancer research, that appreciate what they've done with the Lincoln Center, what they've done with the arts, what they've done in their lives. Un-American, where does that come from? What is going on with Harry Reid?
So I think we have to step back and look at the audience that he's trying to speak to. I don't think Harry Reid's trying to speak to all of America. I think he's trying to speak predominantly to Democratic donors. And he's trying to say to them, you need to chip in and help us out because we have these two conservative libertarian brothers who are funding a vast network of nonprofit groups, political groups that are going to bury us in these elections. And
But what about un-American?
Well,
what about what actually tell the story?
Can I ask what we would all be saying if Mitch McConnell called George Soros un-American from the Senate floor? If the Republican majority leader called George Soros un-American, I would be kicking him around this morning if he did that. Why do Democrats allow their majority leader in the United States Senate to call business people un-American?
It's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think that you're right, that there is a bit of a double standard here. And I will say that, you know, the big issue is essentially what do we do and how do we treat billionaires who are basically spending small portions of their wealth in the political process. And I understand where you're coming from. You say, well, they have every right to spend it. The question that a lot of other people have is, well, if they're going to spend it, shouldn't we know where it's going? And so that brings us to a broader debate, I think one that Harry Reid's trying to have, that other people are trying to have, which is how do you apply a little bit of transparency, or a little bit more transparency to this political system?
But why didn't we have, Sam, and this isn't about you, why didn't we have this conversation in 2008, in 2012, when Barack Obama got more money from more sources on Wall Street and the financial community than any other politician in the history of mankind? We didn't hear those stories in 2008 because the media was too busy coronating him President of the United States.
Not necessarily true. I mean, there was I personally wrote these stories about how Barack Obama contradicted himself on public financing in 2008, contradicted himself on super PACs in 2012, and now he's going to actually attend two super PAC fundraisers for the 2014 cycle. So Obama has been all over the map on here. There's very little consistency from him. We did have a debate on transparency in 2010. It was with this law called the Disclose Act. And the Disclose Act said if you're going to give to super PACs or nonprofit groups, 501c4s, you should at least reveal who the donors are. That failed to pass the Senate by one vote. It was a common sense reform, I thought, because it had been approved or had been supported by Republicans in the past. It never passed, and now we have a system in which people like the Koch brothers and Tom Steyer, this billionaire San Francisco donor, who can give to these nonprofit groups, and no one will know about the money if they don't want them to know about the money.
Right.
All right, a lot to talk about. Coming up.
Pretty relaxed.
Listen, this thing used to jump all over your house spastically.
Harry Reid put it to sleep.